So
Yeah.
as far as Facebook ads, you mentioned, video is really awesome and
Yeah.
it's a lower CPM than on some of the other ads platforms to run a video, that kind of thing. But what's working with Facebook ads today?
Yeah. So what's working really right now, really well that we like to tell people is if you have a bunch of like previous purchase. Oh, first thing I always tell people is like, make sure like no matter what business you have, just have the Facebook pixel installed just because you want to be collecting some sort of data that you can then eventually use later on. Any platform really like Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, you really just want to be sort of just collecting stuff, even though you don't need to advertise on them. But what we see working really well right now is obviously the number one thing is it's going to be just like make a video in the first 3 seconds, like describe the problem or issue that you're really solving, right? So if you're saying a skincare product, you really in the first 3 seconds think about what is your problem solving. Saying like, hey, like literally in the call out, say like, do you have dry skin? Do you have acne? Like really call it out in the first 3 seconds because then you want to tell people like, oh, this is what my problem is and this is how I'm going to solve it. I always tell people to think about it kind of like a Star Wars movie where like the action's happening right in that first scene versus like traditional movies where it's like a kind of like a buildup towards the end. It's flip a movie script in reverse. Like, okay, the big problem right in the 3 seconds, and then you go. So we break it down to like problem right in the first 3 seconds, and then you give them their attention in the middle, which is more about like, okay, like how do you keep that person entertained? What do you say to them? What proof or authority do you have that's going to be like, oh, my product is actually really good, right? So here's really when you can describe things such as your credibility, who you are as a brand owner, like why did you make this product? And then a desire, it's like obviously like what is the offer, like 2-for-1 deal right now happening, and then the action is like, okay, go to my website, go to my funnel and buy the product. So we try to break it videos into like that sort of step. We call it here like AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action.
And
Attention.
I call that problem solution life now. That's
Yeah,
mine.
yeah,
And I use it everywhere. I
yeah,
use it in listings, I use it in photos because
yeah,
again, as you mentioned, like it's so important to get their attention with what's different about your
yep,
product. Nobody is going to be interested in your basket of soaps.
yep.
Like,
And I
but if you
exactly,
start it with, do you have dry skin?
yep.
That's a different, like,
That's the thing.
whoa,
Yeah.
actually I do. And maybe you have this video of like really dry,
Yep.
flaky skin behind some text,
Yep.
and I try to visualize, the whole
Yeah.
storyboard. And so I
And
love that you focus on that.
yeah, and exactly what you said. It's a storyboard of like, what is your product solving? And like, I tell people like, oh my God, like, I mean, you probably know, like, oh my God, I want to focus on my branding. I'm like, no one cares. No one knows who your brand is if you don't have anything to sell. Like I tell people all the time, like, what do you want? Like your CPAs to be like $100 or do you want your CPAs to be like $50?
Because
So
it's not about
yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's not about you. It's about the customer. And
exactly.
so, you want them to be like, oh, how does that apply to me? Oh, that
Yep.
applies to me.
How
Okay,
does it apply
cool.
to me? Yep. It's like, how does it apply to me? And then it's like, okay, once you get that attention, now it's like, how do you get them to trust you and say like, oh, this actually works. So then you like as a cold prospect, someone that's never known about you, you have to overload them with proof, testimonials, stars, ratings, images, show people, okay, the shipping, everything like 100% money back guarantee, all this stuff that's important for someone to be like, okay, like they've overloaded me with proof. Now I'm going to try to buy.
I'm going to try it. And I
Yep.
got you risk-free guarantee, right?
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. So, and then the other thing that you mentioned is the Facebook pixel. So
Yep.
many people I think people get
Yeah.
overwhelmed. They're like, what's a
Yeah.
pixel? How
Yeah.
does that work? Honestly, you guys, it is so easy. You just go into your Facebook business dashboard, you log into there, and you can set up a Facebook pixel, and they will give you step-by-step instructions on how to set that up on your
Yep.
website. It's very, very easy. And then once it's hooked up, it's hooked up.
Yep.
So, you do have to go install it on your website and all of that, but don't let Kevin
Yeah.
saying Facebook pixel freak you out, right? Just go in there to your business dashboard and get her done. It's pretty easy.
It's so
right?
easy. And if you're using like something like Shopify, it's like they literally is a setting. It's like enter the code here. And it's like, okay, cool. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's very
so
good.
simple.
I use WordPress and WooCommerce,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty easy that way too. So
yeah, for WordPress, you just got like one of those like footer header plugins, and it's like enter your pixel here, or like pixel your site's a really good plugin for WordPress.
pixel your sites. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I use. Yeah, it's like really, really. I like pixel your site for WordPress. So like Chester, for example, is WordPress, and it gives you like all those events, like add to cart, view content, all that stuff that you need. Very simple.
Ooh, dude, thanks.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Go
One
ahead,
more
Andy.
thing. Oh no, I just want to mention too. The other thing that I learned the hard way too is is Kevin, I don't know if you guys are using this, but now I, instead of like just installing like like one pixel, if you go in and set up Google Tag Manager,
Mm.
what you do is you drop that script in whatever website, WordPress, wherever you want to track things, and then you can add triggers, and then you can add scripts as well. And that way, you only ever have to install one script on your site, and then manage it all from the Google Tag Manager. And then it also has like version control and lots of really cool things. So if you guys haven't heard of Google Tag Manager, look it up. It also like ties into Google Analytics and stuff like that. And you know, I no longer use any other way
Yeah.
in terms of dropping script, just because managing it is so much easier with that. It takes a learning curve, but highly suggest if you guys are doing a lot of tracking, then that's what you want to use.
Yeah, Google Tag Manager is great for exactly what you said. And like I said, you can also put multiple pixels, because some plugins like Shopify, it's like, okay, you can only add one pixel, but in case you have a backup, you will have another one. And then it makes it easy, like in case you want to add like Hotjar, like user tracking stuff. So simple. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just love it, because before it was just like, oh, where did I put that script? Did I install it
Yep.
on that site? Like, it's just, yeah, it just really helped me to get organized. But I do love, I think I do have a plugin like you're talking about, though, in order to get the e-commerce conversions like automated as well, at least on the WooCommerce side. That's a really good tip.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I love WooCommerce like better than Shopify, just for SEO purposes, just because you
Oh,
can.
Same
yes.
exact. Amy and I
Yeah.
are the same exact way. Yeah, more
Yeah.
control.
And it makes me mad because Shopify's been like
Yeah.
doing all these partnerships and stuff lately. And it's like, I'm so tempted to move to Shopify, but at the same time, I'm like, I think I'm going to try an
Yeah.
integrated solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, yeah, I'm getting super
there's
distracted
like
by Shopify.
there's a really good, do you guys, I love WooCommerce. Do you guys use this plugin called Metoric? Metork. It's the, like, it's like WooCommerce analytics on like steroids. It's probably,
Wait, it's METORIK.
let me pull it up. Metork. Yeah, Metoric.
Okay.
It's like, if you love WooCommerce, which you guys probably do, like you'll love this plugin. It's like the best analytics for like e-commerce stores ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
so it's specifically for WooCommerce, because I use like Monster Insights for.
It's like much better than that. It's obviously,
Okay.
it's like my favorite plugin ever. It's like daily Slack notifications, how much revenue you're making. It's like your top 10 products of the day, your top 10 losers of the day,
So
weekly
it's like a
reports.
WooCommerce dashboard
Yeah.
notification style.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
A
Okay,
lot
we'll check
better.
it out.
Yeah.
So what kind of cool new things should we be focused on in Facebook ads? I know the old Facebook ads, they did some carousel ads. There were some cool new things that they've come out with, though. So what are the new things on Facebook ads that you're most excited about?
So what we work, right now on Facebook, we're seeing a lot really well. If you have like a product catalog of like a lot of items, we're just running like product catalogs to like pure cold audiences. We still see that we're seeing that to work really well nowadays. So that works really well. But one big thing that I think people need to do more is, so Facebook, when you're like advertising on Facebook, you have like different like ways to bid, it's called. So the default one that almost everybody uses is called like lowest cost, which is basically saying, hey, Facebook, I have a budget of like $100 a day. And Facebook will try to spend that every single day. We'll try to spend that $100, throughout the day, right? It's like pacing, right? So like whatever, a few dollars every hour or so. One thing that we're seeing Facebook do really well now is like they have something called like target cost, which is now you're telling Facebook, hey, I only want to pay like, let's say $20 a conversion. And then Facebook will try to find that a person that can convert at that price. And that way you can really control your CPA and your ROI, return on ad spend. So it sounds amazing and it works great, but it only really works when you have a lot of data. That's why you really want to be installing the pixel early on. But then another thing is like, if Facebook can't find anybody that converts at that price that you're willing to pay for, then you don't spend any budget. So it's like a balance between high return on ad spend versus lowest cost, which is like, you're going to spend $100 a day every single day. So depending on like your business metric, like for us, sometimes clients are like, hey guys, like I really need to spend this budget because they have a budget to spend that month. So we'll do this. Whereas like a small business owner, you're like, I'm okay if I only get like one sale every few days because I know I'm getting a high return